Hi everybody, welcome to my channel for new battle report. First of all, I apologize for last game. I heard afterward that the sound was terrible, so I apologize for that. I don't know what technically happened to make the sound being so bad. Usually it's working well, so apologize for that. I hope it was not too inconvenient for you. I was playing, second game of the tournament La Dame du Lac. We were playing against Quattro Rirechli. One of the guys of the team was Alan, who is a teammate from Swiss ETC, and he had three French, Italian-speaking colleagues. I think all of them were speaking Italian. So Swiss-Italian mixed team, which was nice for us to face them. And I had the pleasure to face Marco, who was lent a Warrior of the Dark God army by his friend, who modeled his own face with a scanner to print it 3D. So I thought that was uncommon enough to display it as a cover picture. I thought that's really going the extra mile, but at the same time I told him it's also kind of strange to do that. You have to really want to display yourself. So yeah, let's move back to this battle report. What happened at pairing process? Basically, our matrix wasn't looking too bad. This round we were playing King of the Hill. We decided to throw Jan because he had only one negative matchup, and to keep me in hand because I had two negative matchup, and also due to the fact that if you check both our metrics, we complement each other perfectly. Basically, no matter what they throw him, the worst that they could do is throw him Iborn Elves and VC, because we would end up with a yellow and an orange basically. But other than that, all other combinations should end up with at least one of us getting a green, because we have together we have at least 3 green. So we felt that that was the best move for us, and both our VC and DE player, who have both aggressive lists, had some good matchup to get. And after pairing, we got, according to our rating of the matchup, something quite good. So basically I got the Warrior, my friend Jan got the VS, which was the yellow, and then we got 2 green with VC against Saurian Ancient and Red Elves against Iborn Elf. So yeah, it's always the same that I told my people, team tournament, I think the discipline is very important. And I told them, look guys, if we check the matrix, we got 3 green, a yellow, the cap is at 50, you don't need much to cap. Basically you have 2 13, 1 14, 1 10, and that's it. So I think we can play we can play on our advantage after the pairing, and we don't need here to take big risk. Basically be disciplined, try to bring some small wins, and it could be enough to cap. And basically if we win all 4 rounds, then you win the tournament. So you don't need much more than that. So as a reminder, here you have my list, and this was my opponent's list, a very tiny list. He had 2 Exalted Herald, an Adept Alchemy, so very strong magical setup with 8 spells, 1 Binding Scroll, a brick of 20 Warrior of Pride, with Flaming Standard, 5 Fallen, 2 Piece of Chaff, 2 unit of Chosen Knight of Thrust, which are quite expensive but also quite strong, 3 Feldrak with Albert, and that's it. So it's a very tiny list. My spell selection, sorry, I forgot to write it down. It was Hand of Heaven, Smite the Unbeliever, Wrath of God, Hereditary, Rod of Battle, and on the right you have his spell section. He has Mark for Doom, Grave Call, Hereditary, so very strong from range. Also Wrath of God, so 4 very dangerous spell for me, and then Close Combat, Rot Within, Smite, +2 armor, Glory of Gold. So very good magical setup, but that's what you expect from putting so many points in the magic. And has his manifestation, he took 2 times +1 strength, divine attack, 1 time hard target, and the last one I don't remember what, but that was the most relevant basically. Matchup analysis, so yeah, he has plenty of range damage that can cause me trouble from distance. Since he has a MSU, it could be hard for him to engage in CC in good condition, especially if he doesn't start. Combo charge is needed for him to succeed into bringing down my Merc Vets or my Tribesman Star. Obviously, he can deal with the Tusker, possibly, but especially I'm thinking about the charge from slot Chosen Knight, for example. The first priority, like always in this type of matchup, is get rid of the chaff to get control of the movement and limit his possibility to be aggressive. Secondary objective, King of the Hill. I was thinking, since I'm so confident about my combat strengths of my close combat abilities, against him, and the fact that he could struggle to get down the Merc-Vets and the Tribe Star, I would be fine by being in front of him, and basically I think it's harder for him to engage than me. So I was happy to play on a reduced part of the map and try to pick something close to his or potentially even the same. I think Merc-Vets are an issue for him, especially under Frosty. Basically, striking first with a lot of attacks can be hard for him to swallow. And I rated it to be a small win for me. Deployment. So what happened? He won the roll for side. Decided the house isn't a big deal for him. Because he wanted to, he thought that picking the piece of train on his part of the map was going to be easier than mine, because I have only like the lake close to me and the ruin, which is quite big and not so easy to defend. And he decided to pick the hill, thinking it can also use to it to basically get some long charges, rerollable and stuff like that. And I decided, since I can drop for first turn and I felt quite confident about my ability to fight him with my big blocks, that I would pick the water train and drop very heavily on the right and see what he does. So I dropped Tusker on the right, Bruiser, Tribe Star with Great Khan, Tribesman, Bruiser, Merc-Vets with both Shame and BSB, Sabertooth Tiger behind, Frosty and Giant like I usually do, with the ability to have a very good lateral movement, basically making sure that if he deploys strong against me, everything focused on the right, then I would have possibilities to go around with the Giant and threaten him and be annoying. And if he decided to go strong on the left, I can always back and then play on other parts of the map with these two single models that can easily redeploy. And then what he decided to do, he thought about it a second and then decided it was going to be too risky if I start, because basically I could push, do some range damage, and it could be very hard for him to really be aggressive against such a strong battle line. So he decided to go opposite way, dropped his 3 Feldrak, the 2 Exalted Heralds, Dogs, a Warrior, Chosen Knight, and in the back field was his 5 Fallen. My turn 1. So basically what's tricky here is if you consider the fact that he was so far away from me, but also the fact that he can move very fast, and like I saw at WTC, sometimes even slow army when deploying far away can reach combat in the middle part of the game or late stages of the game. So I need to be very careful about that, and basically I know that my Tusker, from measuring, I would need 2 to 3 turns to form a solid battle line. So I need to take this time and not basically turn around and rush the mercenary forward, because I could easily end up with getting multi-charge, which is something I want to avoid. I want to keep my battle line as compact as possible and to be in front of the 2 pieces of train to basically tell him, yeah, there is no way you can reach that, and basically if you want to fight, come at me, but I will have a strong battle line. So turn 1, I make some space to make sure the Tusker can wheel as soon as possible towards the middle and go on the hill. So I marched them 14, kept them behind in case I need to go on the hill or do other stuff and I needed space, like I said. Marched the Death Star, didn't move much, the Merc-Vets, because yeah, I felt I needed to be compact and I wanted to be able also to move back if needed. And I moved back both of them to be outside 34 of the Exalted Herald, because basically 34 is the range for reroll to wound, hereditary, or grave call boosted. So I wanted to tell him, if you move forward, you can do Mark for Doom, you can do Wrath of God, but not much more than that. And then basically, as soon as you want to be in range with my single model, I want to make sure that in exchange for that, you get a 16 poison shot in your face. In the first magic phase, I got a nice Wrath of God off, and I put it. I had multiple options, either put it close to his line to force him to march. Basically, I took another. I put another difficulty for him into making a rush against me. I put it somewhere here to make sure that he moved 14, he will be on it, and then he move another 14. I will still have some middle long range with Wrath of God to reach him. So I'm basically telling him, if you march forward with ignoring the Wrath of God, there is a good chance that you get hit, and then maybe there is only 2 Chosen Knight left, and it could be very hard for him to go back away from it. No shooting, obviously. He decided to respect my Wrath of God in his turn, so basically I'm zoning him. He marched around with the Feldrak and the Exalted Herald, but other than that, kept himself quite far away from it. In his magic phase, I decided to bind his scroll Wrath of God. thinking if he puts one down in front of me, it could have a negative effect, basically could force me to move away with smaller unit and could be very painful, especially also thinking I cannot lose at this point of time in the game so early on 2 Mervets or something like that. So I decided to bind it since I didn't have a lot of dispel dice. And yeah, in his magic phase he didn't do anything relevant. My turn 2, I push on the hill with the Tusker, march forward with my Desta, putting the mage here, trying to get End of Heaven on them to panic them off the board. The rest, yeah, I'm starting to get a good battle line. Still the same outside 34 with these 2 guys, just to make sure that if you march forward, you get shot at in return. In my magic phase, I dispel End of Heaven, and then I fail Wrath of God. My old Wrath of God didn't came down. His turn. He decided again not to move on it, so he remained quite far away from it. Move these guys back because he don't want me to cast another Hand of Heaven on them because he's far away from his general, and these guys continue to move slowly back, but yeah, he's still quite far away from me. His magic phase didn't do much. I think he got a couple of wounds, but I didn't think he do. I think he got only like +2 armor save on the warrior, something like that, because they were the closest to my shaman maybe, but that was it more or less. My turn 3. Again, I still checking every turn what he might do. If he pushes 14 forward and chaff me, I want to make sure that I can still move backwards, charge the chaff, and still it would be too far for him to charge me. That's basically the deal. So I'm making sure I'm zoning him, getting a good battle line in front of the secondary, but at the same time that it's not possible for him to chaff everything, push hard, and then get an easy charge even if I move back. That's really something I want to avoid. Always the same below, so I move back with the single model. Still, these guys didn't move that much, and I'm still ready with chaff piece in case he really wants to move like aggressively. My magic phase, my Wrath of God comes down, kill 6 dogs, he passes panic check, I get 1 End of Heaven off, I don't remember on what, but didn't do anything. His turn 3, didn't do much, so yeah, like I said, it's a bit late for him now to go very aggro. He go behind the wall and not much will happen. Remaining turn, basically I will start slowly to move back to tell him, because I checked that if he does 16 with these 2 guys, he can put the guy with hard target in front, the other one below, and then make me hitting on 7 and then get middle charge. So by moving back, I make sure that he can move in the forest. Then he had to move out another turn, getting shot at another turn without any cover before he can charge me, which is less risky for me. So I'm just basically playing on my advantage and telling him, I'm winning 13. If you want anything more than 7, come at me and take a huge risk that you get punished in return, basically. So nothing else will basically happen the remaining turn. I just move back and forth, he will back, and then I'm moving a bit forward, trying to get some shots, some magic, but not much will happen. So yeah, not an entertaining game, but I think the early stages were still interesting because it was still about to check what he might do with chaff, what he can do with marching, if he can get any charge, what type of charges. But I just decided to play with 0 risk and get a 13, which was what we wanted for the team, basically. So 0-0, 13-7. Basically, nothing happened at all. Post-game analysis. Like I said, Warrior of the Dark God accepted to lose secondary and minimize the risk and his loss. And then for me, it was mainly about having a look on what he might do with his chaff. Having a look on if he march forward max, can he charge me? At which distance? Is it likely, unlikely? And what can I do about that to just not get caught off guard, basically? So try to anticipate possible aggression mid or late game. So it was lessons learned from WTC. And yeah, Wrath of God made even harder for him to approach me. Question mark whether or not he should have maybe do like I did, basically Binding Scroll, Wrath of God turn 1. If you don't have more than 5 dice to dispel it with a high degree of certainty, maybe you should have done that, because after I had Wrath of God put in such position, I think it's almost impossible for him to move really aggressively. without taking the risk that I might just clean a piece of chaff at a key time with the Wrath of God, for example. What happened this round? So I won 13, our VC player got a 15, then Louis with Dread Elf, I think if I remember correctly, he told me after the match that he misjudged slightly the matchup, should have been a yellow, and he got a 10, and then our Demon got a 10 against Alan, which made it still close to a cap. Like I told you at the beginning, only 15, 13, 10, 10, that's nearly what you need at most. I mean, the cap is at 50, so we're still quite happy about this first day and this second win. There was only 2 rounds the first day, so that was it for the first day. We knew that there was some other challenging round coming up the next day, but yeah, it was satisfying for us. Also to see that we had basically no losses first day. Also something cool to have, and I like the discipline in the team to make sure that, yeah, let's be disciplined. Let's make sure we don't get heavy losses. That's hard to compensate on a team of 4. So I think we played that good, and also we saw that our opponents were also quite disciplined. They didn't take much risk. They played quite close from the deployment, and then if they saw an opportunity, they try sometimes stuff. But like in my game, he saw no opportunity, so that was it basically. Guys, thanks for watching. I know it's not the most entertaining battle to watch, but it's also part of competition level, in my opinion. So this battle happens sometimes, hopefully not too often, because they are not so interesting to analyze, but it's part of the game, like I said. Thanks a lot for watching. Talk to you soon on the channel. Bye.